so honored to hear that story. So if you want to continue with your points,
Sure.
we think it's very helpful.
So part of, and I think in order to teach it, you have to learn it, and you have to walk it. So I see a lot of people trying to teach this and, tell people you have to get over your block, but I look at their page and I'm like, but you still got blocks and stuff. What are you doing over there? But anyways, we'll talk about that later. But one of the things is that I look for the pain within inside of myself that needs to come out, because I want to stop repeating that pattern. It has to be something that has to be put to an end. So once I put awareness on it and I realize where this emotional pain came from, once I get to the root of it, it flushes out and it just goes away. And then I no longer am triggered by that emotion from that pain, because I myself have now empowered myself now, because I took the time to look at that pain, decide I don't want that pain to define me anymore. I'm making it sound like it's easy, but trust me, it's a time where you have to journal through it. You have to be facing it. You have to admit it. And then you have to realize they're just lies that you keep repeating to yourself. It's just an emotional place that you had back in the past. It's not your today. It's not your today. But people let the past affect every single decision they have today, every single decision. But I don't want to live like that anymore. I made a decision that I'm not going to let something that happened to me a year ago, last week, affect what's happening to me today. So that's the decision I make, because I've empowered myself that way. I'm an emotionally, empowered person. And so that's what I want to bring to people when I meet them. I want them to decide, okay, you don't have to let your past define your present and your future, because it affects everything you do. Now, the other point that you raised was, trying to remember now. It was about
discernment
through the journey. Discernment, yes. So when people come into my space, all right, I'm very protective of my energy. One of the things that I'm really good at is reading energy. I read it on the internet too. I read it through people's posts. I read it through their page. Like my clients now will snapshot or tell me, can you go look at that person's page and tell me what you think about them? I can see within 30 seconds what's going on in that person's life. I can even look in their eyes. It's just one of my gifts now. I see how people post. I see how people even like or not like or love a post. I can tell you what they're hiding. Even when they use the thumb, as crazy it is, emojis, I can tell how people are expressing their emotional state. And I'll know, okay, that person still has work to do, yet they're preaching about something else. So for me, when people come into my space, especially in the love arena where I'm still working on, because I kind of shut that down, I'm now in new territory right now of dating again. Because before I was like, okay, I'm just going to live my Buddhist life and I'm going to live right here and I'm going to, preach and change the world. Well, here I am right now going through dating. And so I'm also learning to release some emotional things from relationships. So there's another whole arena that I haven't opened up, so I'm going to use this as an example. So when I'm letting different people into my life, I'm realizing that they're bringing a message for me. Okay. They're bringing a place for me to heal. This relationship is going to bring me joy. It's going to bring me pain, but I have to also be on the awareness that if it doesn't go right anymore, it's okay. I'm going to take what this relationship brought to me now, learn from it, and then release it. And it's so easy to do now because I'm in that place of not sitting there going, why didn't it work out? Why did this person hurt me? I don't do that anymore. I'm in a place of, oh, this was a wonderful union. I made some mistakes in the sense of I repeated a pattern, but I learned from the pattern. So I didn't keep repeating the pattern. And that's where I think people stop. They just keep letting the same repeated pattern come in. For me now, because of where I am at my awareness, and because I'm authentically living my life, I know now, okay, I'm not going to go repeat that pattern anymore because I want better for myself. I know I'm worth more now. And a lot of what we do and what we say stands in our worthiness of how we feel about ourselves, because we don't decide that we're worthy of more. So we accept less. And it's because of that old pain and wound telling us that. So that bullshit story that I had going on, it's gone. I'm not listening to it anymore because I know I'm worthy of everything. Everything that I desire, I'm worthy of. And that's where I've shifted. And reading energy and vibrating at this frequency that I'm at right now, I bring in things that I need to shift, but I let them come in, I let them go out. And I think if people allowed that process and not be so attached to how things have to turn out, if they just detach from the outcome, they will allow themselves to grow and evolve in such a high speed. You know, I'm at this vibration now. I'm only calling in people that can help me grow. And that's why you two ladies are here. It's no mistake. Nothing's a coincidence in life. And when you really put yourself out there, live authentically, allow yourself to grow, it's going to be a place where you bring people in to help you. Now, a lot of people are afraid to show up. So the wrong people show up in their lives because they need to clear that pattern. They need to keep repeating the pattern until it's cleared. And, you know, it goes with everything, with your body, with how you care for yourself, you know, how, you know, what you eat, down to what you eat, everything. You know, why did I keep eating this thing? Why do I keep doing this? Well, you've got to clear something that's telling you that you can't make a better choice. And that's really what it comes down to.
I love how you said about, you know, again, it's that inner circle. You attract what you don't heal, but then you also know enough in your level of authenticity to know that the people that currently surround you, like this is not an accident, as you stated, you know, because we're all playing off each other's strengths. Because I listened to a podcast yesterday where the man, his name is actually Tim Story, stated, "Don't be in companions of fools, because your life will unravel."
That's true.
And I was actually in a speaking engagement as an audience member this time the other night, where Dr. Roland Roberts mentions, you know, he can literally point, if your business is failing, if you're not where you're supposed to be, it has nothing to do with marketing or advertising or potentially even lack of hustle. He can almost guarantee it's not because of the business itself. It's because of a person or people within the business or your surroundings, right, that is not advising you or not positioning you, or who you're associated with, that is lending negativity and a negative impact to
Absolutely.
your life and your business. So thank you for highlighting that in the way that only Shamina can.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you said that, because I had to go through a lot of different people in my life. And as I started stepping into this journey, I started seeing who my real friends were and who my real friends weren't. And it's, you know, when I started having wins, I saw who was cheering me on and who wasn't. Or because I'm like a little kid. If something great happens to me, I'm like, did you know what happened to me? This is the amazing thing that happened to me. And I tell everybody because I want them to get excited about things that could happen to them. But when people turn around and they're like, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. You know, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm feeling something from you that's doesn't feel so genuine. I had to let go of some serious relationships, friendships that I thought were going to be, you know, my ride or dies, because they weren't. And I don't wish them, you know, ill. I just know that that's where they are on their journey. They can't support me the way I need to be supported, because they haven't found the strength within themselves yet. So I let them go to do that, you know? I think it's just whatever goes on in our head is the self-belief. The more we believe in ourselves and our purpose, it doesn't matter what happens. And it's the blocks and the things that we have in the past that stops us from really, truly believing in ourselves. The more you believe in yourself, it means the less bullshit from the past you've brought up. Because look at kids. They believe they can do anything because no one's told them yet that they can't. You know, they're willing to try anything. Whereas adults, we just sit there and go, okay, what was that person going to think? What if I do that? What are they going to think? I don't do that anymore. I don't care what anybody thinks. And I think I want everybody to feel like that. You know, I know I want everybody to feel like that. I want everybody to just step into that powerful place of being you and with no apologies, just showing up you to make massive impact, right? We want to change the world. And the only way to do that is to show up and say, hey, this is who I am. And I've got a message and you need to hear it.
I like the thoughts about looking back at part of Melanie, and my goal with Life Unscripted is for people to recognize exactly that, their limited beliefs. Because if we don't know what we believe about ourselves, then we will believe whatever everyone else believes about us. And they were continuously wearing this mask. So as people are journeying and they're looking towards not only some of the things that we talked about, like, healing your purpose. You talk a lot about taking action. So what does
Yes.
like that look like as far as taking action? Okay, we now have self-awareness. We understand where we need to be healed. We understand our patterns. What does it look like to take action?
Okay, so this is amazing. I think action is where, when you start taking steps to whatever you want, the universe will start kicking in, and the universe will start kicking in and will have your back as soon as you take action. It's one of those things where you don't have to know exactly what you're doing. And I think for me, being a perfectionist and having everything to be so lined up, I had to know how, everything before. But now in this new life that I'm in, I'm realizing I don't have to know the how. I just have to know what I want the end result to be, and just start taking some action towards that goal. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just take a step. Just take one step, and then the next step will show up. And maybe you'll make a mistake along the way, but you'll learn, okay, that's not where I'm going. Let me go down this road. But until you do some trial and error work, you're never going to really realize what it is that how you're going to get your end result. It's like working out. People want to have the most perfect body right away, but you can't have a perfect body unless you get your butt to the gym or start making changes every single day. And you don't have to be perfect every day, but you have to take steps to get where you want to go. You want to write a book, you need to start writing every day. You want to start speaking, you need to get online, start speaking. You want to message and make massive impact, start messaging. Your message doesn't have to be super clear. You don't have to know exactly what you're going to say, but do something. And the way you do something is because once you put your energy into something, and you start thinking about it, and you start, focusing on it, it grows. Like, it always grows. It always expands. And for me, I know if I have to work on some area, as soon as I start looking at it, as soon as I start putting awareness on it, this thing explodes just like that. It's a vibrational thing. It's an energy thing. I was telling Melody, I had 800 people as friends, maybe 2 years ago. I came back from a Tony Robbins event. Within a month, I had 3,000 people friend requesting me. Then I went to 10,000 people. It's like I decided, I set an intention with my action. It's inspired action. When you take it, things show up for you. And the reason why people don't act is because they want it to be perfect. They're not sure how it's going to work out. They're afraid. They need to know the how. They want all these things figured out. But how are you going to know? If you know what's going to happen, what's the point of doing it then? If you know every single step, there's got to be some excitement of guiding you and taking that inspired action. So for me, action is the key. And I wasn't taking action for a while in the beginning of this. I thought, well, I'm just going to think about things. I know I want to do something, and it's just going to kind of happen for me. No, it's not. You have to go take some action. And if you want to make money doing what you're doing, you have to take action. Everything requires an action. You just don't have to know exactly the how. But I help you take action. When you work with me, I push your ass. I'm like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get out of your little comfort zone. You're going to go to do this. And I do it with everything, not just with work, money. I'm like, you're going to get your butt to the gym. You're going to do this. I make everybody stand accountable for what they want to do, and then they find it within themselves, like they're like, oh, I just took this one step. I worked out for 2 weeks. I lost 2 pounds. Or I actually put a blog out there, and I can't believe the response that I got. Oh, I put a post that was so vulnerable. I got 300 likes and 50 people in my inbox. Small little things grow. You just got to do something.
So I love that, Shamina, because you could feel, I hope the audience space on the podcast, who may not be able to see the video, right, because we're playing both of them, can feel that Shamina is the person that will hold you to the fingernail of accountability, right, Janie? She is just, there's a certain order of militant about Shamina, but it's done and it's enveloped in this beauty of authenticity. So you've got the military, she will hold an attorney space, that she will hold your butt accountable for everything that you come, even into friendship and even into communication. And I love the fact that she has grown. I've gone through it. Janie has gone through it. You have to graduate yourselves from the people that is holding you back.
Always.
And one of the most painful partings, but when you are no longer in the same plateau where the mindset is different, because you have to be true to your own calling.
That's
And
right.
if this circle is no longer what